So as promised, I'm going to walk through a yin, mostly using the wall. There'll be a few postures off the wall, but I'm going to have you guys join me for some wall yin. I love this. It's just a chill out practice at the end of a long day, or just maybe a before bed practice to kind of bring it down and feel unwound for rest. I'm at home today for this practice, although I think we do have a plan tomorrow. Sarah and Nikki and I are going to meet up at the studio and make a couple more videos, so be watching for those. For today, I'm just going to do this, and it won't be a real long yin practice, just a nice little filler practice for you if you're looking for something just in between. So here is the way to get into a legs up the wall. It's kind of important that you get to the edge of your support. So I've got my nice cushiony mat. I recommend some cushioning, right? Don't be on a hard floor. Get a couple blankets. If you have this is actually just one of those mattress toppers that I've put into a little sheet. So you can do that too if you have one of those mattress toppers, or just a couple blankets to give you some comfort. And then getting to the edge, that way that when you swing up, you are somewhere in the middle. And then legs up the wall, right? And I'm going to go ahead and keep the times on these. So I'm going to actually do this practice in the amounts of times that I would say stay with each pose. But of course, with any practice, you modify, you come out if needed. With yin, we are looking for sensation. So this is kind of in the realm of yin / restorative, this practice today. So I'm going to keep it in a nice gentle variations. So the benefits of legs up the wall, obviously it's that kind of letting the legs drain. So any of the lymphatic fluid, helping it to drain back to the heart, back to where it can be circulated through. It's great for just tiredness in the legs, swelling in the feet or ankles. I did this a lot after my foot surgery. So we're just going to hang out here. Some people like to prop or kind of pin a bolster behind the knees. This is happy for me. It's a great passive hamstring stretch. So just hang out, connect with your breath. You can check out your toes. You might even do some points and flexes. I don't think any of us are getting any manicures or pedis real soon, so we might have to just live with plain feet. Plain feet. You can take one foot and do some ankle rolls one way, roll the other way, set it back, and other way. Same thing. Free up the free joints are a good thing. Just taking your awareness now to your breath, and maybe you can start to isolate the breath through the nose, keeping the mouth sealed. We try to get that nice subtle breath going here, especially with the legs up the wall. So you want to get that inhale, exhale through the nose, letting the belly rise with the inhalation, and actively kind of drawing in a little bit with the exhalation. You can feel the pelvic floor lift. You can use the transverse abdominis, which are the muscles that wrap around the center, to help exhale the breath through the nose still, and then inhale. That will just all release, and the breath will be invited in just by the fact of releasing that engagement. So let's just continue with that, our subtle breath. You might start to interject a comfortable pause after your exhales. And so that might look like just maybe a 1 or 2 beat, like a count of 1 ohm, 2 ohm, 3 ohm maybe after your exhalation. But don't hold your exhale so long that you feel like you have to gasp for your next inhale. That's what it means to have a comfortable pause. Make sure that your shoulders are soft, your jaw is soft. Eyes could be closed or open, but make sure they're soft in the sockets. So let's take it now to a wide leg, letting the feet go out to a comfortable distance where you feel a little stretch in the inner thigh line.
again, you always have permission to lessen, right? Come out a little bit, come out all the way. Keep a little softness in the knees. You could always bring in some support if you feel like you need it, even just your hands supporting, right? Your elbows pressing into the earth, hands supporting the thighs. Gentle stretch to the inner line. Many of the traditional Chinese medicine meridians run along the inner and outer thighs, right? All but the upper body ones, essentially. So we get into all of the yin meridians, the meridians of traditional Chinese medicine, which is where yin is based. It's where our acupuncturists work in those acupuncture points. Anytime we have excessive tightness here, it can have an impact on the knees. So this is just a nice passive, but not definitely I'm feeling it. It's not like it's not nothing happening, but it's passive opening here for the inner line. Let's try to stay another 30 seconds or so. And then watch how I bend my knees, and then just kind of walk the feet back up with a little softness in the knees. Legs up the wall is our home base, so we'll just come back here as a rebound. I like to just kind of let my feet windshield wiper side to side here. And so we'll just take it to our butterfly next, keeping with the inner thigh. The feet will touch just like we were in a seated butterfly or a reclining butterfly. I like to let my hands just come in to the knees a bit. You can be anywhere along the line. I like to come in nice and low and just let it settle so that the knees are open. Give a little extra gentle, not too aggressive. Remember, this is yin, yield rather than shield or press in. So just let it be gentle, right? Keep it a little gentle. Be gentle with yourself. Come back to the breath. If you've lost contact or connection with the breath, come back into that. Watch for tension in the shoulders, especially if you're holding on to the legs. Get that breath in and out through the nose. Keep it subtle, soft, but still low into the lungs, into the belly. I'll stay here for maybe another minute or so. I'm not timing, so I'm just kind of winging it with time. We'll just stay until I can't take it anymore. How's that sound? Just letting your awareness keep coming back to the sensation and to the breath. Those are the anchors for your awareness. And in my Soulful Sunday this morning, I talked about how just being fully present can really help to calm anxiety. Noticing the senses. What am I seeing? What am I hearing? What am I tasting? What am I smelling? What am I feeling, right? So the internal senses are sense of our body, interoception, proprioception, where we are in space. All of that can become anchors for our awareness. And it's powerful because it kind of takes our mind out of that spinning into the future or reaching into the past, right? And right now it's just not useful for us to try to conjecture None of us really have a sense of how long this is going to last or where we're headed with this. And so it's really a lesson. It's a training right now in being with uncertainty. And even though we always are, this has really driven it home. And so we have to just learn this whole new way of being in being comfortable with not knowing, So let's just be with our senses, with our breath, with our sensations. So see, I just talked you through it, a little bit of extra time. Just help the knees together. You might even hug the knees to the chest here as a little in between. And we'll walk our feet up, and this will again be our rebound, just coming back to our legs up the wall. Great point to just reconnect with your breath. And then we'll take those feet a little wider than the hips. We want to definitely go, see how I'm out at a little bit of a V. Then start to walk them down, walk them down, walk them down. You could let the toes turn out slightly, right? Just like we would if we were in a squat pose, malasana, on the floor. And then you're just going to let this settle. And at first it doesn't feel like much. It's like, okay, I'm not really feeling much. Make sure you haven't let your bum roll up. Only come down so far as that you can still keep your bum on the ground. And then we'll just let that set. Try to see if you can relax into the glutes, relax into the deep core muscles in the belly, so you're not guarding, right? It's interesting how when I start this pose, I guard a little bit, and I just did that, my low back, like I lifted up through the ribs. Let your low back, your mid back, even your upper back, let it relax. And then neutralize the neck. Make sure the chin is slightly below the forehead. If not, you can always support under the neck. And just marinate for a while in this squat pose. Really good for opening up our hips. Giving a little compression there, stretch. Now you're starting to feel what this pose is about. Right about now it starts to go, okay, I'm feeling it. Relax the legs, relax the jaw, relax the mind. Maybe a mental list of all the things you're going to be grateful to be able to do again freely, right? I'm going to be grateful to be able to be in the yoga studio again and to be out socially, the little things. But I'm really appreciating right now this opportunity to kind of gear down a little bit, be less intense, less scattered, a little bit more focused. So I'm looking at that as the bright side of this. Quiet time at home. I mean, the yogis traditionally practiced this, right? This going into the caves. So we can just pretend we're being good yogis, going into solitude and reflection for a while. I highly recommend journaling through this time. So just hanging out here for about 5 more breath cycles. Noticing your inhales and exhales being even. You could still be using a little pause at the end of the exhalations. Notice if there's anywhere you're still holding tension in the back, the jaw, the arms, the shoulders, the feet. Are your feet gripping? Let it all go. And we'll start to release this pose by bringing the knees in, walk the feet up, returning to that home base, legs up the wall. You can just massage it out a little bit. The shoulders relax. I like to just wiggle my feet side to side here a little bit. Settle into stillness. So we're going to do a wall cow face. So cross your legs one over the other to start with, just like I am now. I've got right over left, and then you'll just bring the legs down. The left foot will plant on the wall, and the right knee will just be drawing in towards you. You can rest your hands on the knees or at the sides, just a little hip opener here. Cow face legs. Keep your breath nice and steady. This gives me a little compression in the right belly as well, which is good. That's the descending colon. Descending. No, ascending. Transverse descending. Anyways, it's a compression on the colon, on the internal organs. Let's stay here for about another minute. So just take a deep breath in and just let it go with a soft sigh. Release the pose, return to home base, legs up the wall as a rebound. And we'll take the other side. So left leg crosses over the right foot slides down, which will pull the knees sort of into that reclining cow face position. Keep your left foot planted and just let the right foot planted on the wall and the left knee just be braced by that. And I feel it deep in that left hip. I can feel the difference in tightness between my two hips here. Just settle in, find your stillness, find your breath. There's the parts to a yin, right, where we find an appropriate edge in the shape. We resolve to be still, and then we remain for a time. And this time is, like we said, about 2 minutes each side. I'm really using my internal sense of time because I don't have a timer running. So we'll just sit with it and breathe. Yin teaches us to relax into the discomfort of therapeutic change. And it is definitely useful on so many levels off our mat, this ability to relax into discomfort. Because our suffering increases with our resistance to whatever is happening. So, if we can lower our resistance to whatever is, right? No clinging, no aversion. That is part of the yoga foundation, right? Is that we're learning to be with whatever is without this clinging, without aversion. Right? So relax into discomfort, relax into those places that may not necessarily be where we had visioned ourselves, and trust the unfolding. Trusting the unfolding. Nothing lasts forever, not the good stuff and not the bad stuff. Just several more breath cycles here. See if you can slow the breath down. See if you can keep your exhale pause and let your breath be subtle, low and slow, low into the lungs, slow inhale, slow exhale, and the pause. Use that little bit of a pelvic floor lift and the core engagement to help with the exhalations, core breathing. And we'll just start to release this side out by let that go, the legs come up, return to home base. Let's just do a good flex of the toes toward us and then a good point. And flex them really good, like walk your heels up, flex the toes, spread the toes, flex them toward you, and then plantar flexion, pointing them towards the wall. And then just coming into stillness, wiggle, wiggle. So we're gonna do a wall twist, and I'm gonna give it two options. I like the real big intense twist, which is both legs just kind of slide down the wall to one direction, and we just let the arms reach out like a T. So that's intense. If that's too intense, bend the knees. Take it with a bent knee, right? So you would bend your knees first, walk it down, coming into your twist. And we'll just stay here for a short time. We'll do both sides, of course. This is great for opening up our shoulders, a little bit of compression here just below the rib cage. Take 2 more breath cycles here. And then to come out carefully, bending right knee, bending left knee, come on up, feet go up. Going to the other side, either with knees bent, drop, or legs straight, just like a clock, tick, 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 tock, bring it down. We take that twist the other way. We're looking for the shoulder opposite of the opposite way you're twisting to stay anchored to the ground. The breath is steady. Hopefully the mind is steady. Let go of some of that spinning, right? Yogas chitta vritti nirodha. The ceasing of the turning of the mind, right? So that we can really get in touch with a deeper sense of knowing, our higher wisdom. We get out of our own thinking mind. All right, so the top leg will bend and help us to return back to center. Right up into our neutral, legs up the wall is, like I said, our home base. So to go into reclining pigeon, I kind of like to try it from here. It's pretty intense, right? So we might want to just give ourselves a little space from the wall at this point. Safest way to do that is just roll to your side, shift it back, bring your feet back up so that you end up with the knees 90 degrees from the wall. And this is just a great passive rest place to be. Okay, the right ankle on the left knee, reclining pigeon, the right hand can help to press in. If you feel like you want more, you can always come off the wall and come into the traditional here, right? So just depending on what feels best to you. I like this resting the leg against the wall. And then we'll just stay here for about a minute on each side. what Yin Yoga has taught me is to slow down and to be more connected with the sensations within a pose and not rushing from pose to pose, right? So it can be an opportunity for meditation as we really do start to settle into the sensations, the breath, all of this deep awareness of our bodies and our breath, is that's the connection, the body, mind, spirit connection. So it's a great segue into meditation, but it's also really just helped me off the mat to start to be able to pause and notice, what are your thoughts? What's your breath? How's your body feeling? How fast are you moving? How many things are you trying to do at the same time? Can you start to just slow it all down? Start to be in the moment fully. All right, let's switch sides. So the right foot plants right at the level of the knee. The left ankle comes across. We take our reclining pigeon the other side. Pigeon pose is a nice opener for the hips. I like it just like this. You can also take it a little more intense. Like I said, if you want it, you can bring it in around the knee, around the back of the thigh to draw it in a little closer. Sometimes less is more. So maybe in this next minute of holding, just think of 3 things you're really grateful for during this time. And we'll release that side up, bringing the foot to the wall. This will be our rest position, knees bent. This is also a great place to just rest anytime, really, to just let the low back settle down if you're having a tough day with your low back. And then from here, I'm just going to take you into a roll to the side, and we'll take it over into our seated position and fix up my hair. Fix the hair. So, because you got to do it too, probably. So let's get our hair under control. And then let's just end with a couple cat-cows here. So from tabletop, just get a little rounding, nice and slow motion, a little tilt, and around. Let me just adjust a little bit. I can see that there's some pieces missing here. Back it up. And I thought we would just take it to a child's pose, knees wide, toes touch. You can bring in a bolster or not, drop it in, rest into the forehead. I think let's take a little arm movement here. So let's thread our left arm in, right arm over, come in and hang out in your child's pose. Always can help the knees here, right? If you haven't already bolstered up under the knees, or padded the knees, you could. If it's too much to sit the hips all the way back, you could do this from a higher position. You could also put some propping between the calf and the bum, like a blanket tucked in there. Enough talking. I'm going to just settle into the twist for a couple breaths. The arm lines in traditional Chinese medicine are the heart, lungs, large and small intestine, and the triple burner, which obviously are relevant right now, are lung lines, heart lines. So let's free the left arm. Just give it a little reach, maybe even bind it for a second. And then we'll take it, right arm threads, drop the right shoulder, right ear, lay it in, take several breaths here. There's 3 ways that we work in the yin on the tissues. This is a compression. It's also a stretch, but we can stretch, compress, or torsion. Actually, this is all 3 because we're twisting, we're stretching, and we're compressing. So all 3 ways that we work the yin tissues.
Yin works in the connective tissue, tendons, ligaments, fascia. That's a whole lesson in itself. I'll spare you that one today. Just suffice it to say that it helps us to reshape the skeletal system with low load and long hold, such as what we've been doing. Okay, let's free that right arm out. Oh, walk it out. Just take a moment here in the center. Slide the arms forward. And let's come on up into a seated position. And from our seated position, we'll just take it to a comfortable seat, whatever that looks like for you. I'll spin here so that I can see you, you can see me. I'd like to just end here with our sit bones anchored, our shoulders soft, our eyes closed, palms. Let's say this, palms down if you need grounding, palms up if you need a little uplifting and energizing, because it's not for me to say necessarily what you're feeling right now or what you need. I've been through the gamut of, feeling really like I need grounding, and then moments where I just feel like I need uplifting. Just trusting. Again, this is a process that we're all in that we are unfamiliar with. So it's uncharted territory, and I think that the best thing we can do is to just keep showing up on our mats, even for 10 minutes in the day. Maybe a break if you're working at home, or if you're just at home. It's a great little pause in the day to just take a moment and get on your mat. Let your shoulders be soft, your gaze be soft, let your eyes be soft. I want to end with just a little reading. I have to grab my book, which got out of my reach here. Let me grab that. This is from It's Not Easy Being Green by Jim Henson. Quotes from Jim Henson. At some point in my life, I decided, rightly or wrongly, that there are many situations in this life that I can't do much about. Acts of terrorism, feelings of national prejudice, Cold War, etc. So what I should do is concentrate on the situations that my energy can affect. And so there we have it. There's a lot of things I cannot control right now, but what I can control is my breath. I can control my thoughts. I can control this little phone right now and keep recording yoga classes for you. So that's my answer. Thank you for sharing your light, your love of yoga, and all things good with me. Namaste.